lost in Game 6. This was disappointing to see. Another Doc Rivers loss. Now, I'm not going to blame this on Doc Rivers. I'm not going to blame this on Joel Embiid. And everybody's saying that Joel Embiid, he didn't step up. Oh, this is your real MVP? Nah, I'm just kidding. I probably said that myself. Is this your real MVP? Because the argument for him and Jokic. But to disrespect Joel Embiid, saying that he's not giving enough effort on the court, are you serious? This dude was injured. 2 injuries and he's playing. He's the only reason that they were in this series. It would have been a sweep if Joel Embiid didn't step up and play. He wasn't even supposed to play in game 3? And he did, because, of course, he don't want to go down 3-0. Joel Embiid, he wants a championship. That's one thing that I'm learning every single year from Joel Embiid, that he really wants a championship. Every single season, something happens. In the playoffs, it just doesn't work out for him. Even, like, just rewind. Losing in the first round of Boston, and Kawhi Leonard hits a crazy shot in Toronto, bounces, go in, and then during that series, Joel Embiid had these stomach issues and things like that. I'm just like, can Joel Embiid get a break? And not to mention last year, which spiraled over to this season, which has been chaotic for the 76ers because Ben Simmons didn't want to play at all because of what happened Game 7 against the Atlanta Hawks, and he passes up an open layup, and they lose Game 7 against Atlanta. And now Joel Embiid, fast forward, he gets James Harden. I'm thinking that it's going to be a dynamic duo, unstoppable. And James Harden, he joins the Philadelphia 76ers, and he hasn't taken 20 shots at all. Not even 20. But I'm not even finna get started on James Harden. We will get there soon, but let's stay on Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid did everything that he could. I gained so much respect for Joel Embiid after this playoffs. No lie. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. This man played through 2 injuries, trying to make things happen, won 2 games solely because he played. I know Maxey had a good game. I know Harden had that amazing game 4, 34 points, I think hitting step backs. I'm like, wow. James Harden is back. James Harden is finally back. No, that's not. That wasn't the case. But Joel Embiid did everything that he could this year to win an MVP. He didn't win that, and to go for a championship. He got James Harden. He was excited. Thought they were going to make it to at least the Eastern Conference Finals to be able to compete for a championship, and it didn't work out. So every year something happens to Joel Embiid, and that doesn't work in his favor. And it's sad to see that a guy that's that good, that skilled, that talented, that dominant in the paint can be able to hit mid-range and free throws at a high clip. He's just a great player. But every single season, he doesn't have a chance. And let's play this clip by Joel Embiid, what he said after the game about Jimmy Butler. Play the clip.
I won't sit here and say, I wish I didn't wish he was my teammate. Still don't know how we let him go, but I wish I could have gone to battle with him still, but it is what it is.
That is I was thinking the same thing. Like, how did you give up Jimmy Butler for Tobias Harris? How? That's not even a question. Why would you do such a thing like that? Why would you do such a thing like that, Philly? This will haunt Philly for a long time. And we saw Ben Simmons being petty once again, posting pictures of Jimmy Butler beating the 76ers. Wow. And this Philly, I don't know what's going inside that organization. I really don't know what's going inside that organization at all. Things need to get right in there. The process is about to die. It's about to be over with. This process, I don't know what will happen because Joel Embiid cannot find a second man. He cannot. He cannot find that second star, that second superstar on his team. He had it in Jimmy Butler, a great fit, but no, they wanted Tobias Harris, let go of Jimmy Butler, talked about his attitude, all these things, and then Jimmy Butler goes to the finals in 2020, and now he has a chance to go to a finals this season while beating you and doing that. Now, let's fast forward to James Harden. James Harden, this is sad to see James Harden play like this. Oh, man. I don't even know what to say, man. I really don't. I really don't know what to say right now. Let me just sit back and just like think. This is crazy. Wow. Now, I have been defending James Harden for years, man. I really have been defending James Harden for years. He's a great all-time player, all-time great. I was one of those guys saying that he's a top 3 shooting guard of all time, right behind Kobe Bryant. And I know right now you might be calling me stupid for saying that. But at a point in time of James Harden's career, this was a guy that averaged 33 seasons in a row, averaged 36 points one season, and took the greatest team in NBA history. No, I'm not talking about the 96 Bulls. No, I'm not talking about the Showtime Lakers. I'm talking about the 2018 Golden State Warriors to 7 games and lost in 7 because he didn't have Chris Paul. Now, James Harden is a great player. He wanted out in Houston. He wanted to go to Brooklyn. And he wanted to leave Brooklyn and go to Philly. And now is James Harden just pouting at this moment and just saying, hey, you know what? I just don't like the environment I'm in. He didn't like the environment in Houston because they weren't able to compete. He didn't want to play with John Wall. He wanted to compete for a championship. He got to Brooklyn, playing amazing. Kyrie Irving moved to the 2-guard position. James Harden take over the point guard position, and he's playing like an MVP. Literally playing like an MVP. Fast forward, he gets hurt in the playoff, hamstring injury. We don't know what happened in the offseason because it looked like he was out of shape when he came into this season. It looked like he was out of shape. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but it looked like he was out of shape. And now he wants out of Brooklyn because of the Kyrie Irving situation. And he just stopped playing there. I remember that Sacramento Kings game. It was a terrible game to watch with James Harden. He wanted out. Now you get him in Philly. I'm like, man, I think James Harden is committed. I really think James Harden is committed. I see this team making a playoff push. I'm talking about deep in the Eastern Conference Finals, maybe to a championship if James Harden plays like the James Harden I know him to be. And I'm not even asking for the James Harden that was in Houston, averaging 36 and 34 and 28 points per game. I'm not asking for that James Harden. I was asking for that James Harden who was on the Brooklyn Nets last season before the injury, who was averaging like 25 and 10, 25 and 11, 24 and 11. I mean like 23 and 11, around that range, playing aggressive, in attack mode, making things happen, actually taking shots. And we get to game 6, he takes 2 shots at halftime. 2 shots. One of the greatest offensive players of all time takes 2 shots. 2 shots in a closeout game, game 6 in halftime. This is not the first time we've seen James Harden do this. And now I'm a huge James Harden advocate. I'm for James Harden all the way. Yeah, I want James Harden to be successful. I want James Harden to win the championship. But we have to pull out the facts. This happened in 2017 too against the San Antonio Spurs, game 6. James Harden shoots 2 for 11, 10 points. Game 6 versus Miami. James Harden shoots 4 for 9, 11 points. He takes 2 shots at halftime. This is one of the most aggressive players I have ever seen. Going to the basket, making step back threes, and now he doesn't even want to take a shot. Take a shot. Literally, James Harden didn't want to take a shot. Game 6. And this will continue to happen. The way that people perceive James Harden going into the playoffs, it will continue. The guy who doesn't show up, who doesn't step up. And I want to say it's because of the hamstring, but I can't say it's because of the hamstring injury. Last season, when James Harden was going full speed and he had to stop in half court and he had to bring it, pull it back out in Brooklyn because of that hamstring problem. This season, no. This playoffs, no. That wasn't a reason. He wasn't aggressive. He said in the post-game conference, he said, hey, the ball just wasn't moving around. It was moving around, and I didn't get the ball touched. You are the point guard. You are bringing the ball up every single play. Every single play you're bringing the ball up. And you telling me you didn't get a chance to touch the ball? Really, Harden? It's hard to see. I think Harden will bounce back. I know I said this before that James Harden, he doesn't have that burst, that speed, that athleticism to get to the rack, to make things happen the way he used to in Houston or even last year early when he was playing with the Brooklyn Nets because of that hamstring injury. But now he just doesn't want to take no shots. I mean, he hasn't attempted more than 20 shots since he's been in Philadelphia. And I don't know, does he not like Doc Rivers? Him and Tyrese Maxey, it seems like they don't seem to get along from the outside looking in. Now, I'm not going to act like I know what's really happening, what's really going on inside the locker room. I do not work for the Philadelphia 76ers. I am not in their locker room. But we see the videos surfacing online of Tyrese Maxey and James Harden just having this confrontation towards one another. Is that the reason why Harden didn't want to play? Is that the reason why Harden won't take no shots? Did he pull a Kobe Bryant on us right before our eyes? I don't know. Y'all let me know, what did James Harden do in Game 6? Because I'm to this right now, I'm just shocked. I'm completely shocked.